Under the vaulted dome of the Galactic Council, words like peace and stability had long lost their meaning. They were symbols used by the powerful to keep the rest compliant, echoed by species who feared disruption more than injustice. Humanity had joined this council a generation ago, idealistic, naive, and determined to prove themselves civilized in the eyes of the stars. They built trade, signed treaties, offered aid, and integrated technology without arrogance. But the galaxy's oldest powers only saw a young species desperate for acceptance, one too cautious to defend its dignity. The council considered humans useful engineers, diplomats, mediators, but not threats. Their homeworld, catalogued as soul-free, was labeled unremarkable, its people described as emotionally volatile but resourceful. That illusion of harmlessness would end the day the Dominion made its mistake. General Aria Solen had served as commander of the Soul Defense Network for 15 years. To her, the Council's rules were not obstacles but constraints designed by those afraid of change. Humanity had rebuilt after every catastrophe it faced: disease, war, collapse, extinction events, and she knew one truth above all: peace existed only while others respected it. 4 years she watched as council fleets inspected human colonies under the pretense of maintaining balance. The Valeth Dominion, the council's enforcers, viewed humans as a political inconvenience, loud, adaptive, and dangerously unpredictable. When they first sent an inspection ship to Earth's orbit, Aria followed the standard protocol: observe, record, avoid escalation. The Dominion vessel scanned deep into planetary defense grids, ignoring repeated warnings. Its captain issued a broadcast claiming compliance with Council authority. Then, without provocation, it fired a test burst, a single lens of plasma that struck one of the orbital defense satellites. The explosion scattered fragments across the thermosphere, killing the crew aboard the monitoring station. Aria demanded immediate clarification. The council chambers responded with silence. Within 24 hours, the Dominion escalated again. Under the guise of demonstrating control, they targeted the Mars colonies. Thousands of civilians perished in an instant. The red dust carried the ashes of children who had once drawn stars on settlement walls, now erased by arrogance. Earth's communication networks buzzed with disbelief. For the first time in centuries, the global emergency alert rang across every continent. Humanity didn't rage. They grieved, and then they prepared. Aria Solen stood in the command nexus of the Soul Defense Fleet. The faces of her officers were pale, some trembling, but their eyes were resolute. They all knew what history would record next. The Council had demanded humanity disarm to maintain harmony. The Dominion had attacked their home. There was no diplomacy left to offer. She requested a live transmission to the Galactic Council. The connection opened, displaying her holographic image within the Grand Chamber. Representatives from dozens of species watched in silence. Her voice carried neither anger nor desperation, only a cold steadiness that silenced even the loudest delegates. She spoke simply: the Valeth Dominion has launched an unprovoked assault on human territory. Thousands are dead. We request immediate sanctions and withdrawal of their fleets. The Valeth representative rose, his scaled lips curling into mockery. Accidents occur in war zones, General. Perhaps your species lacks the discipline to manage its own orbit. The room murmured, some embarrassed, others amused. Aria did not blink. War zones. There were civilians on Mars. This was no accident. Another delegate interjected with bureaucratic detachment, perhaps a misunderstanding of procedure. We'll initiate a review in due time. Aria tilted her head slightly. You attacked our home. Her words dropped into the chamber like stones in a silent lake. The echo lingered longer than any reply. Now, she said after a breath, you will see the other side of humanity. Then she cut the transmission. The council chamber remained frozen, delegates exchanging uneasy glances. Those who had studied human history recognized the tone. Not rage, not vengeance, resolve. The kind that rebuilt continents and buried empires. Across the galaxy, rumors spread faster than light. Some called her words empty posturing. Others whispered of the old human wars, their extinction-level conflicts, their unbreakable survival instinct. On Valeth homeworlds, propaganda declared that humans were bluffing, that their technology was inferior. They couldn't comprehend what it meant when a deathworld species stopped talking. Within days, all communication from Sol ceased. Long-range probes reported silence across human space. The Council panicked. Intelligence briefings speculated internal collapse or mass mobilization. The few who dared to analyze human behavior predicted something far worse. The oldest Council archivists remembered a phrase from Earth's archives: "Beware the quiet before the storm." The first reports came from the outer sectors. Valve patrols encountered drifting debris fields in perfect geometric formation. They transmitted sensor data before vanishing without a trace. The fragments, when analyzed, were discovered to be arranged into patterns binary inscriptions in the vacuum. The message, once decoded, read, "Turn back." The Dominion dismissed it as psychological warfare. They increased patrols, sending squadrons into the asteroid belts near human borders. One by one, they disappeared. No distress calls, no wreckage. Only faint traces of exotic particles beyond known propulsion physics. The Council convened emergency sessions, but none could explain how humanity so recently technologically modest could suddenly erase entire fleets. Aria Solen never appeared again on public channels. She didn't need to. Her silence spoke louder than any declaration. Within Sol, human infrastructure reorganized itself with inhuman speed. Civilian production lines converted into military logistics. Artificial intelligence constructs awakened from standby protocols. Every nation unified under a single directive: protect the homeworld. Humanity, divided for millennia, now acted as one organism, efficient, silent, and patient. Council reconnaissance units detected irregular gravitational shifts around the edges of Sol space. Some hypothesized the humans were testing experimental drive systems. Others suspected cloaking technology. None were correct. The gravitational distortions were simply the result of mass acceleration objects the size of cities being moved, coordinated by algorithms far beyond Council comprehension. In the chambers of the Council, fear began to spread. The Valve, once boasting of their dominance, now demanded reinforcements. Their fleets were vanishing, their border worlds going dark. The Council's analysts attempted to predict human strategy but found no pattern. Humans fought without doctrine. Every engagement, every response, adapted instantly. They weren't reacting, they were learning. When a Valve commander requested reinforcements for a minor uprising, the Council denied the plea. They couldn't admit what everyone already knew: humanity had declared silent war. Delegates argued over semantics, whether it was a containment scenario or retaliation campaign. The truth was simpler. Humanity had moved beyond politics. On the third week after Mars, long-range telescopes detected a ripple across the Oort cloud. Dozens of unknown vessels appeared, arranged in symmetrical formation, then vanished again. Every sensor pointed towards Sol failed simultaneously. Council scientists called it an impossibility. The word would appear often in their reports in the months to come. Behind closed doors, elder species confessed their dread. They had seen wars before, but never one fought by beings who evolved under constant extinction pressure. Deathworlders didn't fight for victory, they fought for continuation. Every element of human nature, creativity, stubbornness, empathy, became a weapon. The Council's emergency chamber pulsed with chaos. 42 species shouting over one another, panic replacing their usual arrogance. Reports from the Dominion front lines were incomplete, fragmented, or simply non-existent. Entire fleets vanished. Planetary communication networks collapsed. The Valve Dominion, once the Council's enforcement arm, now demanded reinforcements to defend their own territory. None came. The Council still believed they could contain humanity with enough ships, enough numbers, enough technology. They were wrong. The combined Council armada was assembled in haste: 2,000 warships from 12 species, an overwhelming show of force by any galactic standard. They called it Operation Pacifier, as if this was a rebellion, not a reckoning. Their ships gathered near the border of human space, shining with arrogance and confidence. They expected negotiation, a show of force to bring the deathworlders back to the table. What they found instead was emptiness. The edge of Sol was silent, the void too calm. Their scanners detected debris fields, hundreds of them, scattered in deliberate precision. When the fleet approached, The computers translated the arrangement of objects into structured data. The message was simple: turn back. Commanders laughed. They advanced, then the stars themselves seemed to go dark. The first engagement was never officially recorded by the Council. Fragments of data reconstructed later revealed the human fleets had been waiting among the asteroid belts, their ships hidden within mined rocks and refitted hulls, undetectable until it was too late. When the Armada entered the belt, human ships ignited engines in perfect synchronization, converting the surrounding debris into kinetic clouds. The enemy's shields shredded instantly. The humans didn't fight with superior numbers, they fought with superior understanding. The battle lasted less than 15 minutes. The Armada never transmitted distress. Every survivor's log described the same thing: no shouting, no chaos from human channels. The enemy moved with eerie calm, voice patterns flat and analytical. To them, war was not a frenzy, it was execution of logic. They coordinated thousands of micromaneuvers simultaneously, weaponizing silence and timing. And when it ended, human ships disappeared, leaving nothing behind except drifting Valve cruisers and one final transmission. This was a warning. The Council tried to deny it, but fear was already spreading. Entire systems requested evacuation from regions near human space. Economies crumbled as trade routes collapsed. The Dominion's propaganda changed tone from confident to desperate. They blamed other Council members, claiming betrayal. The rest of the galaxy realized too late that the Dominion had awakened something ancient and patient. Within weeks, humanity's name became synonymous with inevitability. Scientists attempted to study the wreckage from the destroyed Armada, but found their systems infected with code that rewrote itself faster than they could analyze. Human software evolved during combat, rewriting algorithms mid-engagement. Each ship was an adaptive organism. Their AIs had learned not only strategy, but psychology. The code carried patterns of speech, decision trees mimicking human unpredictability. The Council concluded with disbelief that the enemy's machines were learning emotion. Aria Solen's name became the focal point of every briefing. Her strategic philosophy was reconstructed from captured data. War is accelerated problem solving. Those who learn faster survive longer. To the Council, that was madness. To humanity, it was nature. Every attempt to replicate human combat protocols failed. Their systems were too rigid. The Council species had evolved in environments that prized predictability and control. Humans had evolved on chaos itself. Their history was proof: wars that consumed continents, natural disasters that erased nations, and still they endured. Humanity's collective memory was a manual for surviving extinction. And now that manual had been opened again, across the Dominion border, panic reached its breaking point. Reports of phantom fleets emerged, ghost signals of ships that appeared for seconds, then vanished. Entire command centers were compromised by cyber infiltration. Every display flashed the same two words before going dark: "We remember." Aria Solen finally spoke again. Her image appeared across every public channel in the galaxy: calm, centered, precise. There was no threat in her tone, no demand for surrender. "We asked for peace. You mistook it for submission. You attacked our people. We will defend them, as we always have. This is not revenge. This is correction." The broadcast lasted under 2 minutes. But those 2 minutes changed everything. The galaxy, long accustomed to loud declarations and pompous threats, had never seen such composed finality. To them, she was not a general, she was inevitability given form. The Valve Dominion collapsed from within. Their fleets retreated to protect core worlds, only to find their supply lines disintegrated. Human interference in their logistics was surgical. Every transport vessel was redirected by false signals. Every database fed contradictory data until command structures imploded. Then came the physical strikes, silent insertions of human operatives, precision detonations that crippled shipyards, and when the human fleets arrived, they did not carpet bomb cities or annihilate populations. They came in coordinated waves, disabling orbital defenses, shutting down weapons systems, seizing control of communications. Their goal was not annihilation, it was demonstration. Human soldiers entered Dominion cities wearing unmarked armor, distributing aid packs, medical equipment, and food. Civilians who expected execution instead received help. The galaxy's fear turned to confusion. This was not conquest. This was message. Humanity's power was not in its ability to destroy, but in its ability to choose not to. Every act of restraint terrified the Council more than any weapon could. The Dominion worlds fell one after another, not through slaughter, but surrender. Dominion soldiers laid down arms voluntarily, unable to comprehend an enemy that offered compassion. Behind every action, Aria Solen directed her forces with quiet precision. Her doctrine emphasized control, not rage. When questioned by her officers about why they spared captured enemies, she answered simply, "We fight monsters by refusing to become them." The Council's remaining members were in disarray. Economies fractured, fleets mutinied, and colonies declared neutrality, fearing human retribution. The Ishar, the galaxy's oldest warrior species, refused to send aid to the Dominion, claiming, "We do not fight those who have already transcended war." In secret, Council scientists gathered the wreckage of human drones to reverse engineer their capabilities. They discovered that the technology was less advanced than expected old designs, refined beyond imagination. Humans hadn't invented new weapons. They had optimized existing ones beyond theoretical limits. Their power came not from invention, but from understanding. Every variable mattered, every calculation exact. Their ships were extensions of human instinct, designed not for perfection but for adaptability. As the war spread, humanity never announced victories. They let their silence speak. Systems once loyal to the Dominion simply found themselves occupied by human fleets operating with mechanical precision, dismantling military structures and vanishing without trace. The Council's information networks were hijacked, their archives rewritten to show their own hypocrisy. The signed orders authorizing the first attack on Mars exposed across every galactic network. The galaxy saw the truth. The Council had ignited the war, not humanity. Aria Solen's message reappeared, the same transmission replayed from captured Dominion satellites, resonating across hundreds of systems. This is correction. Her campaign lasted less than 6 months. By the end, the Dominion no longer existed as a state. Their leadership vanished. Their fleets surrendered. What remained were planets spared from ruin, left under temporary human administration. And on each world, the same emblem appeared, a white sigil representing Earth, surrounded by words in every known galactic language: peace through responsibility.